Hi everyone. How are you doing? Are you as tired as me? And I've not started to talk. So 45 minutes, and then it's done. So you have any plans for tonight, drinks, whatever? Yeah? Somebody can invite me. I'm very poor at this point of time with no more money, so need a bit of praise for that. So we're going to talk about the 2 minutes on the closing topic on budget in recession, right? And after that, we have to go to the keynote. So very quickly, our topic was about, in case of a recession, which happens sometimes, what type of digital tactic do you cut? Or how do you change your budgeting? So we had a discussion on a couple of topics. One interesting was that there is not necessarily a recession for everybody around the table, which was an interesting topic. So people who are serving those brands, please note, they are not cutting off a budget. So if they tell you they cut off budget, it's not necessarily the truth. So because of that, necessarily you have to evaluate your budget differently. For sure, if they try to cut some of the budget, they will first start to cut offline activities, and they will cut digital after. So it seems the trend today, if they have to make some selection, first they start to cut offline, then they cut digital. In addition to the cutting, I guess was more important the notion of being more careful. Being more careful on spending, either asking more from the agency, but most of the time trying to get more out of the dollar value. So what impact do you want to have and what do you need to get out of that investment? What else? Blah, blah, blah. This you don't care. This really useless. Buying clothes for tomorrow, no, that's not for me. Less paid, yeah, a bit of less paid media, more social, but nothing new, I would say. Then come the question is, how do you do it? Do you have the knowledge to know what to cut or how to drive your budget? Who do you ask help for? And of course, you go to your agency. And we had a bit of debate on the table on, do you have the right partner to help you to decide on what type of digital activity to cut? And of course, the answer was yes. We all have great agencies that help us, of course, effectively to drive budget, which of course isn't exactly always the case. So here we are entering maybe a part of this keynote presentation, which is the role of agency. What do we do in digital? What's the role of digital today, and how do we drive that? And all of us, agency, client, customers, I think we all agree that today there is a shift, not on digital, but in the relationship between all of us, and which is good, I would say, for us as an industry, for us as clients, and that's definitely good for the customers. All right? Having said that, let me go to this topic. But before I start, I have a personal message. Paul? Is Paul around? Paul? No? Okay. Can we take note on people who are not attending my keynote? Paul? Ken? Great. Joe? Joe and Guyenne? Okay. 2 out of 3. Angeli? Good. 4. James? Good. Andrew? Actually, for the picture, I'm not sure, but right. The conclusion, or not the conclusion, but the reason why I had a personal message for all of you was to say, no questions allowed, guys. So if the 4 of you are not in the room, please lock the door and make sure they don't go in. Ken, I can give you some money if you want to buy a beer, but no questions allowed. Of course, all of you can ask questions, but if you see your name on the board, you cannot ask questions. These guys are the most difficult to handle when they ask you a question, which is like, you ask, or you said something on the slide number 3, which you said that 25% of the entire Asian population is doing more than 5% of online buying when they are surfing on internet. But what about the women? So I want to avoid that. So Ken, please, no question. You can tweet, but this guy on the back is going to check. So what are we going to talk about? I'm usually starting with my warning signal. Warning signal because you might have guessed that I am not really politically correct. I'm French, sorry, that happens to everybody. By the way, we are voting for our new president next Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which actually was a very good discussion topic on digital, because we saw lots of new involvement on how the politics were using digital platforms, but never mind. So yeah, I'm going to give you a sort of brutal reality and honest view on what I think is digital. I am not going to tell you what you know. I am not going to tell you things you might want to hear. And I might upset a couple of people. So please, I apologize. Try not to send too many things on my face. But yes, I really want to give you a bit of different perspective on a bit like the matrix worlds of digital. You have the blue pill and the red pill, like in the movie, right? You remember the scene? The blue pill, the red pill? Remember the scene? Yeah, the old people say yes, the old generation who watched the Matrix. So the blue is, what is it, the blue? You need to answer, I'm drinking. Blue is? Blue is you take the pill and you stay in your ideal world, right? What is the ideal world? Well, it's the common perception. All what we believe, all what we see, everybody is happy, we don't challenge each other, everything is nice. Red is, I discover the reality. I discover the truth on what is the world behind me. And for me, that's very important. It doesn't mean you have to go in red. It means you must know the difference. And after that, you want to go back to blue, I'm perfectly fine. But I want to give you the choice to realize, to know what you don't know, or you might think you know, but actually you don't know completely. Okay? Then after that, you don't want to apply, you don't want to do it, I'm fine. But at least we need to give you the options. And I think as agencies, that's our role, all of us, to educate you. Because as client, you just have no time, and you rely on your partner to educate you on what's happening outside. So, what can I talk about? Come on, 3 days, you know it all. You've covered all the technologies, you've covered all the platforms, you've covered all the semantics. 3 days of professionals talking to you on digital. So, what is left for me? Seriously, I'm wondering sometimes. That's why I didn't want to have Ken joining. What is left for me, it's a bit the wake-up call. Sound? No sound. You're lucky because it was really loud. Wake-up call. And why wake-up call? Wake-up call because there is a real danger outside, and I really mean it. The danger is that today, there is a tendency, all of us, of being hypnotized. And hypnotized by something that makes us do things in a non-normal state. So this danger zone of being hypnotized is real, and it's changing us completely. So I don't know if you remember this movie. Remember this guy? Right? My precious. I practiced during 2 days for that. My throat is totally dead. My precious. Yeah? Gollum. If you remember the movie, Gollum was not like this before. Right? He was like this. After watching and looking for this ring for so many days, years, hours, whatever, he became like that, right? Well, look at that. No, that's the normal picture. Wait. That's how I am really when I spend too much time. And this virus is starting to contaminate all of us. I mean, we have a team, a normal team at the office, and I left them for a couple of days. It's becoming a nightmare. Please respect their pain, because really it's not really easy. This contamination is touching all of us everywhere in the world. And we had one very recent example of a very famous people being impacted. Poor guy. Right. Latest known victim. I can give you the evidence. Instagram. A $0 company you buy for $1 billion. If it's not an evidence of being hypnotized, I don't get it. And let me give you a second evidence of this one. It started in 2004. Google purchased Picasa. You know how much they paid? $5 million. Yahoo purchased Flickr. How much they pay for Flickr? 30. Facebook is buying Instagram, $1 billion. So what's the conclusion? Yeah, that's true. But the most important conclusion is that Google and Yahoo are doing much better business than Facebook. That is a given. Second, I will be the CEO of Flickr. I would eat my 30 million to 1 billion. Seriously, when you calculate the cost of Flickr, the number of servers they need to maintain your pictures online, for how many years? And the guy only managed to sell his company for $30 million. I have made some bad decisions in my life in the past. I'm so happy I didn't make that one. So at the end of the session, we're going to collect a bit of money. If you can just donate a bit of dollars for the poor CEO, because really it's not very nice for him. But anyway, so back to our ring, there is today a real danger of us being hypnotized. But don't panic. Like a danger, we already have a bit of cure. But in order to have the cure, you need to detect the first signs. So what are these first signs of being hypnotized by all this stuff, right? Some of the signs is the FNT syndrome. Each time you have some marketing activity, you put Facebook and Twitter everywhere. So you have a customer care issue, you have a sales issue, you want to introduce a product, you open a Facebook page. You want to drive new shops, you want to anything, you put a Facebook page, a Twitter. That's the first syndrome. Second syndrome, it's the ostrich syndrome. Is I don't want to hear about measurement. I don't want to hear about anything about metrics, and I don't want to justify anything on why am I spending money, and why do I drive result, anything, so I'm hiding as much as possible, far away, and I hope that nobody is asking me the question, which is the case usually. Second syndrome. Third syndrome is the cut and paste. We have a nice media, TV ad, whatever. I cut it and I paste it everywhere I can. So I take the same video, I take one snapshot of this one, I put it on all websites, all banners, all EDM, anything, and I just copy and paste everything everywhere using the same technology or the new technology. And I've been doing that for so many years now. I'm very good at that. We started with radio, then we moved to TV, then we moved to internet, then we moved to social media, then we moved to mobile. Each time we have a new technology, we cut and paste and cut and paste. That's the third syndrome of this hypnotization. Fourth syndrome, it's the tunnel vision. This one is a bit more tricky. Tunnel vision is we start to focus only on one narrow thing. So instead of looking at an overall picture, strategy, what is my brand value, what do I need to achieve, I focus on one isolated view, one isolated element, and I just focus on that one. My website, my ring, my social page, my event. And we lose the context, we lose the peripheral view, we lose the context of the brand, we lose the context of the regional global interaction, and we lose the overall strategy effect. Symptom number 5 is the Jar Jar Binks symptom. You know this character from Star Wars? Not the best invention of George Lucas, but okay, fine. Fan of Star Wars, so I can't complain. Jar Jar Binks is a very cute character, right? He's the happy guy always in a movie, always trying new things, a bit fumbling left and right. And we are doing that sometimes, all of us. We are launching new Facebook page, new website, new stuff, and we are all happy because we are just testing and trying all these things. That's the 5th symptom. 6th symptom is a spider web. And then suddenly, at the office, we say, don't we used to have a Facebook page opened 2 years ago? Yes, but that's one of the 25 Facebook pages we are supposed to maintain, but we have no resources to maintain it. Or are we driving our website with the latest content and business? So we tend to let all that stuff behind us, taking cockroach, and we move to the next one. That's the 6th syndrome. 7th symptom is the shopaholic, which is I must spend as much as possible, and the more the better, to get new things. And it goes in my wardrobe, and I align all new tactics, new things, and nobody's asking me to justify why I'm using the credit card of my husband or my wife to spend some money. So if we start to have a bit of this syndrome, and you can notice in a sense the shopaholic apply to all of them, there is a risk. There is a risk that you start to be hypnotized by this Lord of the Ring and start to lose reality and lose control. And you're going in a dangerous direction, because this direction is very steep and cannot be stopped, because it's very comfortable. So every disease or symptom, there is a cure. Every cure, you need to understand the root cause. Why are we today in that situation? Why suddenly are we discovering that we start to be hypnotized by some of this stuff? Well, actually, it's really simple. There is only 2 root causes. The first powerful root cause is technology. This one is very powerful. Really, really powerful. And technology is great. No debate about that. It's fantastic. No debate about that. You do great things. No debate about that. But this is just technology. I wanted to add a slide on CRM. If you take a look at the definition of CRM, it says system that. It doesn't say consumer, it doesn't say needs, it doesn't say brand objective, it doesn't say solving a problem, it says system. CRM is just a system of technology. Facebook is a platform. It's a technology. It's a very powerful root cause, really powerful, because we start to be hypnotized with it. But of course, platform, technology, which are great tools, must be used to achieve a goal. Then it's another debate. That's the first root cause. The second root cause, this one is even more dangerous than the first one. Creativity. We love it, this one. We love to show to our dads how creative we are. Our great idea, the big idea, the wow things. We love it. And again, no debate. It's critically important. It is. Creativity is very important. Visuals are very important. Ideas are extremely important. But ideas, creativity, visuals are just the expression of something. And that something must answer the cause, why we are doing it. So individually, technology is very attractive. Creativity is even more attractive. We all love it. If you mix them together, that's really powerful. Really powerful. And that's why today all of us were hypnotized. Because yes, wow, that's impressive. What you can do today with technology and creativity, that's really unbelievable. Really, I mean it. I'm just, like, when I watch some video whatsoever, it's just like blowing away. I didn't want to run some video, spent 3 days with all case study and so on. I just selected 6 of them for every type of activity. Samsung 3D projection. Wow, seriously. Respect. Beautiful. KLM Twitter campaign. For me, the best usage of a Twitter campaign year to date from any brand. Perfect from the usage. We don't have the numbers, we don't know the impact. Okay, fair enough. But from a showcase point of view, fantastic. Coca-Cola RF camp, great. If you have not seen this one, in Israel, the kids are going in Coca-Cola camp, and instead of saying, I like Facebook, they have an RF technology, and when they like an activity, they really like the activity. That's brilliant. That's just brilliant. Intel, personal experience. Beautiful. Very jealous of the agency who did that, by the way. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. Tipex, we have all played with the bear, right? Who didn't play with the bear on Tipex? Ken, you didn't play? No, I can't believe you. It's because I asked you not to ask questions, right? The Tipex bear is one of the best examples of interactive video, right? The Lego augmented reality, my goodness. Augmented reality, we saw so many of these demos, you have the dragon in front of you, okay, it's fine. What Lego did, if you don't know, you put the Lego box in front of the camera, it shows you the Lego built, how it should be built. That's brilliant. That's a perfect usage of technology from a kid point of view, because when you get this box of Lego, and I used to play Lego when I was a kid, just shake it and you have just no idea on how it looks like. Putting that in front of a camera to have a look of how it looks like, it's just brilliant. So what's wrong? Why am I making all that noise and that fuzz on the Friday? Are we Friday? Friday? Thursday? Today? Wednesday? I'm lost. I slept 2 hours last night, so please. What day is it? Wednesday or Thursday? Thank you. You owe me a beer tonight. So I owe you a beer. So I pay, you pay after, whenever. So all these stuff are great. Really, they are just beautiful technology. But what's wrong? What is wrong is because we are so much hypnotized. We don't look where we should be looking. And I mean it, all of us. Myself as well. It's so tempting, it's so beautiful, it's so attractive that, yeah, we love it. And we discuss, debate on that, but yeah, unfortunately, it gives us the wrong focus on digital. So, as a consequence, do you know how we use digital? And that's not necessarily good news. WMD, weapon of mass digital. That's what we do today. So what is a WMD? The way we use digital today. More information to more people faster. That's what we do. SMS blast. Press button. Like this. EDM. We blast. That's how it works. I did an experiment. I disconnected my Facebook profile. Some of you are my friends on Facebook. How many of you have noticed I disappeared from Facebook? I have not received a single email. Paul, I need to talk to you, by the way, because I was very upset about this. But I received 4 questions from friends, which is, have you blocked me on Facebook? I cannot send you a message. So the conclusion of the experiment was, Facebook, best case, it's a shouting machine. Nobody reads about you. Nobody cares. Well, nobody reads about me, at least. They don't care if I disappear, nobody sees. But as a consequence, yes, we have so much information coming in front of us on this Facebook thing. I mean, you miss one thing, you miss it. So when we say, yeah, Facebook is engagement, no, Facebook is a platform. The way we use Facebook is pure sending more information to more people faster. Somebody had the idea which is, oh, people used to read mail. We need to send mail. Okay, we send mail. Then somebody said, yeah, but now we have electronic email. Oh, why is it good? Electronic email is good because not only you can blast more people and you don't have to pay for the stamp post. Ah. Send EDM. Oh, we need to send EDM. It's much better than DM. Same. More people, faster. Then somebody came and said, oh, now we have social media. Oh, why is it good, social media? Well, people used to be on internet. Now they are all on Facebook. 800 million people on Facebook. Oh, how much does it cost? 0. Oh. Faster, more people, more information. So, I'm wondering, is it the best we can do collectively? Client, agencies, all together. Is it really the role of digital? Spamming more people always? Is it? Is it really the usage of digital? Are we really using digital the way it's supposed to be? So you can say, yes, but we are not, it's not our fault, because we are hypnotized, we are not ourselves, right? That was my demonstration. So we are not legally responsible of that. Yeah, sure. My own fault, I shoot my own foot. Yeah, we are suffering from this hypnotization syndrome. Because we focus so much on technology and creativity, yeah, of course, then we send more information to more people faster. Luckily, because we manage, after many years of survey and in labs and so on, now we have a cure against this symptom. So there are 4 pills. If you realize you're a bit affected, you can take these 4 pills. First pill is Strategox. Once a day, Strategox, a bit of water, for the next couple of 6 months, then you should be fine. Second pill, Measurox. Measurox, you need to take at least 2 per day. And intensive in the beginning, because it takes a bit of time to get used to it. Then you get 2 small pills, which are, you know, like when you take medication, there is always medication that tastes really bad, you know? But that's the most effective, and that's the one nobody wants to take. This one is Optimox and Borinox. So Strategox, Optimox, Borinox, and Measurox, 4 key pills to cure this hypnotization disease, whatever. So let me give you a bit of details on that. Strategox is very effective, this symptom. Let's open a Facebook page. Or let's create a mobile app. Or let's have a look at this. Very effective against that. What it does, it gives you one thing immediately. Why? Suddenly, the Strategox, we put the why into the picture. That's beautiful. And it brings a tactic in a context, which we lost in this hypnotization of things. We lost it completely. So that's the benefits of the Strategox. First action to do is to stop. So take Strategox and stop what you're doing currently in your marketing plan. Why? Otherwise, you go back again, creativity, and then you have somebody talking about effectiveness. And you realize, in a sense, there is a bit of gap between creativity and effectiveness. Then comes the question, what is effectiveness? What is efficiency? What is efficacy? So now I need to tell you the truth on this slide. I just came up with that slide because actually originally I put efficacity, which doesn't exist in English. So somebody in my team said, Greg, efficacity doesn't exist. No, but efficacity in French. Yeah, but it's efficacy or efficiency. And then I realized we have three names: effectiveness, efficiency, efficacy. So what's the difference between these three things? Well, efficacy is getting things done. Efficiency, doing things the most economical way. Effectiveness, doing the right thing, setting the right target to achieve an effect. So, efficacy, what is it? Can you put back the screen here? I think it's disappeared. This one. Efficacy is getting things done. It means launching a website, launching a microsite, launching whatever, and nothing wrong with that. It's a creative idea, it's a tactic, it's a website. That's okay. Thank you. Whose job is it? Whose job is it to do efficacy? Your team. That's your team. We have junior people, and they have to come up with, okay, let's do this, let's do that. That's great. Efficiency now. Efficiency is about to say, I have $20 million to spend. I wish I can have that budget one day, God, please. Okay. The client wants to, anyway, so $20 million budget. It's about saving money, reducing budget, we talked about it earlier, reducing cost. Whose job is it? Efficiency. Your CFO. Your CFO must be on your back every single day saying, we are spending too much money for this company on marketing. That's his job. If he's not doing that, fire him. Seriously. The day your CFO says, oh, okay, spend money, go ahead, change CFO. That's his job. His job is to ensure that he's questioning you on why are we spending that money? We don't need it. We are L'Oreal, we are the famous brand. Why are we spending that? We don't need it. So that leaves us now with the last one, effectiveness. Effectiveness, it's about this. It's about defining the role of marketing. And what's the role of marketing? The role of marketing is very simple. Is what are my objectives and how should I reach it? Effectiveness is how do I maximize my result? How do I ensure I get the best out of it? That's effectiveness. All the rest is not your job and not my job. So it means I must, thanks to the strategox, put back the why question in the picture. What is the problem as a brand we have to solve? What is it? Out of that, what is my strategy to solve it? Out of that, what is my end goal? End goal meaning what do I measure to ensure that I can say, yes, boss, I have done a good job. That's it. End goal, boss, I have done a good job. We said we're going to do that. That's the end result. And by the way, I'm successful. So how do I do that? Client, that's your job. Number one, the easiest and maybe the most difficult at the same time. You have to tell us what is your problem. And you have to tell us what is your problem to solve as clearly as possible. As soon as you start to be a bit vague, there is no way I can solve it for you. And defining your problem is not about, I want a website. That is not a valid problem. It's not, I want it tomorrow. That is not at all a valid problem. And it's not, I want it cheap. That is not at all a valid problem, right? So what is a valid problem? I need to increase my blah, blah, blah by X%, blah, blah, blah within that time. Fill the gap. Brand awareness, NPS, sales, brand attrition, return on investment, whatever it is. What do you want to measure at the end of the campaign to say that, yes, I launched a website to do that, I launched social media to do that, it reached that goal, I'm successful. There is one little deviation that is tolerated even with the strategogues, which is the my boss wants. My boss wants a website. So this is a valid objective. This you have to accept. So when you do that, it means moving forward, don't focus on your campaign, just on a campaign. Use 4 elements to define your campaigns. We call it activation. We call it engagement. We call it conversion. And we call it amplification. If you start to use these 4 elements to drive any tactic, any campaign, it's going to be a good usage of the strategogues. Activation means you want to launch a website, great. You want to launch a Facebook page, great. You want to have an event, great. How do you know, or how do you make sure that people will know about it? Drive people to the activity. Inform them, recruit them. That's the activation. It means I'm not talking about DI or GAP, whatever. At the end of the sales funnel, I need to reach an objective. If I want to reach that objective, how many people do I need to contact at the beginning of the sales funnel? That's your activation target. Engagement, I go to the next step. Engagement is what we used to call the tactic, right? One website, whatsoever. Because we want to use the strategogues to avoid the narrow tunnel view, I want to put that back in its context. And the context, what is it? It means I integrate my tactic with other elements. Talk about touchpoint mapping, contact strategy, whatever. It means I start to put links between all the things I'm doing together. Because I'm not anymore talking me, brand, to you, consumer. This time is over. Let's not talk about the evolution of the brand role, the role of the digital consumer, what they do, what they don't do. We all know that now, right? But what it means is that you need to create a path between you and your consumer in which you integrate the multiple tactics together. That's an engagement plan. So, if you want to do an engagement plan, it means you will be able to finally answer that famous question, why are we doing TV versus radio? Why am I doing print ad instead of social media? Why am I doing a mobile app instead of doing a banner? Because honestly, out of one problem, you have hundreds of solutions. There is not a single unique solution, or I should say all solutions are unique to solve the same problem. So which one is the best? How do you select? That's, again, very simple. I have one tactic. I have a better impact. If I can make a better impact by choosing website it should be. If by choosing TV ad, I have a better impact, TV ad it should be. If I should use a mobile app it should be. I'm fine. Now, qualify better. What does that mean, better? Better means 3 things, and not 4. Higher results, shorter time to achieve that result, and better return on investment. On purpose, I didn't put in less budget or less money. If you spend less, but you have a 10th or 50% decrease of the result by spending 10% less, it's really bad. So better return on investment, yes. So that's the driver to select a tactic. And if you want to go in the very complicated page after, you will have it, fine. Take a look at it, we'll send it to you. Take the sales funnel, evaluate all phases of the sales funnel, evaluate what traditional media works for what, and what is the equivalent of digital media. And then you can showcase during the next iMedia Summit next year. So I believe that in order to increase the interest, it should involve a process initiation. And definitely the forum works much better than the endorsement marketing that is much better for desire and persuasion and emotion building. That works, believe me. So all that list is wrong because it's too easy, of course, to put one tactic, one element in one block, especially with digital. But yes, by using one to do that, at least you start to have a gouge. So by using the sales funnel, you start to talk about conversion, and conversion is a term that is changing. We used to know conversion in terms of sales, and of course, yes. Conversion is the consumer action to reach the goal. And we call it CTA, call to action. What is the next step? What do I do? And there are actually 3 types of CTA, of call to action. The first call to action is I have one tactic. I always need to think on the next step. Always. I have one mobile app, what's after? One print ad, what is after? That's the first call to action. In terms of campaign, the call to action helps you to bring to the next step to reach the end goal, which naturally should be sales, ideally. Right? So, I can give you some potential click call to action. You can use QR code, you can collect data at an event, you can collect information to register to a newsletter on a website, and so on and so on. You have a look at this. The point is, after every single individual tactic, we must add this call to action. If we do that properly, the next step is, of course, amplification. That's beautiful. We've talked about it. Talk about social media and all this stuff. Don't forget listening. Listening is maybe more important than social media because it's good they talk. The question is, they talk about what? If you do a partnership between Madonna and your brand, you want to ensure they talk about your brand and not Madonna. Because believe me, Madonna, she doesn't need it. So they are talking, yes, but are they talking about the right thing? At the end of the day, ta-da, you have it. Problem, solution, and goal. I'm choosing multi-channel campaign, TV, radio, website, social media, online sales, put it in the order you want. I define the role of TV in my campaign. I'm defining why I choose TV instead of social media. I'm defining why I put TV first and not in the middle of it. I define how do I qualify the success of TV individually and the role of TV in my entire picture. How does it help me to reach my goal? And I go to the call to action. I repeat that as needed, and at the end I have sales. So by using the Strategox, it's very powerful. Next step, and you cannot remove it from Strategox, is the MeasureOx. MeasureOx is very effective against 3 critical things. It was a great campaign. It's a really great campaign. We won an award. Yeah. And the ostrich syndrome. So the direct impact of the MeasureOx is measuring success. You talk about marketing effectiveness, and you talk about data. So there are usually 2 key metrics you have to remember in digital. You can forget about all the rest, and these are the 2 most important metrics to keep in mind. Because of time, I cannot do a Q&A, is the CPP and the CPC. Very critical. It's impossible for you to get out of this conference without knowing that. The 2 most important measurements in digital. CPP, cost per potato. Very important. CPC, cost per carrot. Guys, doesn't matter. CPP, CPPPC, CPC, TPCPCM, PCPC, TTPC. Okay? So, what it does, we look at the wrong thing again. You know, we are hypnotized. We look at the tube. Oh, it's a nice tube, yeah. Then we look at people who get in that tube. It says 66 out of 99. What do I do? Okay, I move. It takes out. So, because we look at the wrong thing, but I spent some time on the very important things at the beginning, right? The 5-minute summary of the, so I still have 10 minutes. 15, great. So, in, out, and tube, what it means. Guys, tube is the media. We had the discussion. You don't care about the media. That's the job of your media agency. In is GRP. You don't care on the GRP. Your media agency cares about GRP. Of course, that's how they invoice you. So if you increase a KPI on GRP, they say, yeah, great, more budget. They love it. What matters is out and what you do after. So let me give you an example. Banner, linking to a Facebook or to a website. You have a media placement, you have a conversion rate, and then I go to the website, right? Traditional media. Use the MeasureOx to change this. With the MeasureOx, you can finally get over that, which is the traditional DI, CTR, and yes, we reach our objective, we have 5,000 fans. Great. So with the MeasureOx, finally, you get the solution, which is I need to split the reaching fans into two, and I need to add another component, which is what are they doing when they reach Facebook? What are they doing when they go to the event? What are they doing when they use your application? What are they doing when they go on the website? What's next? What's my call to action? And that's what you need to measure to see if your campaign is a success. So mathematically how it works, you define your objective from the back. And you say, yeah, I need to have 100% that registers on my website. If I need 100%, I want a split of 30, 70, 80, 20, based on your target audience. It means I need to reach that specific conversion rate, which is media specific, which depends on the qualitative and some assumptions, and your media agency can tell you how to influence the click-through rate. It means I need to evaluate my cost. Do I need to go for volume, for value? Do I need to go for selected? And out of that, yes, I have my DI, my GRP, which in that case gives you a budget. So call to action is very powerful. Because finally, instead of measuring just a click stream, you measure something that is linked to your campaign objective. And that's what you need. You need to measure something that gives you the solution at the end on whether you reach a goal. So measurement with the MeasureOx, first you need to add your call to action to any click stream. Then you need to add a financial, very complex calculation. Yeah, I know, I'm very, like 548, I'm very mean. But actually, it's very simple. The sum of the cost of your campaign must be lower than the margin you generate by the sale of the product with the extra volume generated during the campaign period. I translate. You spend $20 million on TV, by all means. You're selling a bottle of water of $2. How many bottles of $2 you must sell on top of the normal sales to balance your $20 million investment? A lot of bottles. If the objective of the TV is, of course, to generate sales, right? Which is, of course, a very easy example. So, overall, what it means, financially, what you need to measure is the impact, the alpha. The more impact you have, the better it is for you. More sales, more whatever. Return on investment, cost of acquisition, all that, that's great. Then come the long-term measurement. Any marketing activity must have an impact somehow, somewhere. Must have an impact somehow, somewhere. Sometimes we don't know, sometimes we take assumptions, sometimes we measure after, sometimes it doesn't matter. It's not perfect, it's not 100% guaranteed, but it's better than not doing it. That's the benefit of MeasureRox. So NPS or sales brings you an ideal picture of measurement of activity in the digital world, clickstream, long-term, call to action, and financials. What to put in clickstream? I don't know. What's the objective of your campaign? What to put in measurement in financials? I don't know. What do you want to achieve? What I know, you must have at least these 4 components. And it doesn't say that CTR is not important. Yes, it's important in the clickstream category to reach a goal, but link it to CTA. If you do that, and you start to use Strategox or MeasureRox, the direct consequences is that you cannot do that anymore. You cannot sleep during a campaign. Because we used to do that. We launch a website and he's hiding now. That's what you need to do. You need to measure the result, what you want to achieve, and how to achieve that. So let me conclude and go fast here. If you use Strategox and MeasureRox, you have Optimox and Borinox. Optimox and Borinox are all the things you need to do in your current activities. So let me skip on a couple of slides. There are a couple of process slides. The message is, first, of course, relevant, but now with the technology, you can really customize, personalize everything. Really. There is no excuse anymore to send me an offer that is not relevant. Cannot. There is no excuse anymore to send me a message saying, "Dear VIP, you must have my name somewhere." And you can customize all that to the really one-to-one. Talk to Helen, she can give you more example on the print on one-to-one. You can do one-to-one in QR code, you can do print on magazine, you can do one-to-one on website, you can do one-to-one on social media. You do one-to-one on anything. The value of that is unbelievable. Social media enablers, defining framework, defining your digital presence, optimizing your asset, all that is very important. Before anything else, and don't read, you will get the slides. Before launching a new thing, before being creative, maximize what you have. You have fantastic assets. How can you collect back more data? How can you bring back your customers? And that leads us to the budget discussion. How much should I spend in digital? Well, there is 3 brackets, 5, 10, 15. If you are on the 5% bracket, not good. 10 to 15 start to be okay. The question for me is not necessarily the number, is what you do with it. Digital is not about being hypnotized, right, on creative and platform. There is a rule on 10%, 90%. If you spend 100 on a system, that's your 10%. You must spend 90% on analyzing, maintaining, and so on. Today, it's more the opposite. We spend 90% on the system and 10% on maintaining it or measuring it. If we can be 50-50, it's going to be good enough. Budget, a lot of things to consider, from strategy, creative, production, measurement. And if we took a look at activation, engagement, conversion, amplification, don't follow that strictly, but the message here, don't put everything in the activity itself. Put budget before to drive traffic, budget to convert, budget to activate. Maintenance, how many people do you need, and so on. So conclusion. Conclusion, I said, so not too bad, right? Don't be hypnotized. It's very tempting. I know, it's beautiful. What you can do today with digital is fantastic. It's really great. Technology is beautiful. Take your medication and get your protection. By the way, all of you need to sign the medical disclaimer because I don't want to be held responsible if you're not following the instruction properly. But anyway, at the end, where do you have to focus? Focus on the guy on top. I know it's great, it's boring, we don't care, but he's still here, consumer. Don't focus on the guy on the bottom, on the yellow, innovation, technology. Consumer is the center of your strategy. Strategy is the center of your tactic. Tactic is the center of the innovation. And then we use a technology to do what? Remember, digital is not about WMD. Actually, digital is about fewer and better. That's the mean of digital. And that's beautiful. And you can do really fantastic things. And by all means, challenge us. Tell us we are doing a bad job. I mean it. But challenge us on the right thing. Challenge us on why do we believe social media is better than a website. Challenge us on why do we believe that in order to increase sales or in order to increase brand perception, we need to open a social media page. Challenge us on that. And why am I supposed to reach that number better than with a TV ad? That's the right question. Because honestly, we don't know for sure. It's the good debate discussion. And let's stop debating on colors for hours. You are not a creative director. I am not. And we need to trust our creative director on the big idea and so on, and not be hypnotized by this stuff, which are, of course, very interesting. Remember, that's my last slide, that we are here to do only one thing: solve your problems. And we are here to do business for you, not for us. Doing business for an agency doesn't matter. What matters is that you have a problem to solve, you have a business to drive, the solution we bring is driving your business. Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory. All right, I'd like to open it up to the floor. Does anyone have any questions for Gregory?
5 minutes.
Any questions at all?
Thank you. Now, Ken, you can ask questions as well if you want. Okay, while I'm here still tonight, you can always drop us an email if you have any questions.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much, Gregory.